The day has come. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2 is here. And once again, I watched it so you don't have to. I made the first video around Easter last year, and then this year, the sequel came out right before Easter. This is becoming a weird tradition. If you didn't know, Winnie the Pooh became public domain, so last year, a horror movie was released where he's a scary murderer. The movie was not good. It was really bad. I'll give a short recap of what happened in that movie, but if you want all the details, check out the video I made last year where I go in depth. But okay, here's a quick summary as a refresher. Last time on Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Pooh and the gang are half-human, half-animal hybrids that live in the woods. Christopher Robin was friends with them until he had to go away for college. After he left, Pooh and friends ran out of food, so they ate Eeyore. They were so upset that they had to do this, and at Christopher Robin for abandoning them, that they decided that they hate all humans and will kill them from here on out. Christopher comes home from college with his fiancée and/or wife, we never figured out which she is, and he goes to visit Pooh. However, they're evil now, so they kill his fiancée wife and tie up Chris and torture him. The rest of the movie focuses on a random, forgettable group of girls staying in a nearby cabin. Pooh and Piglet break in and kill them all. Christopher randomly shows back up at the end and is the only one to survive the night. Alright, recap over. Let's move on to Blood and Honey 2. Also, side note, due to copyright stuff, I'll really only be able to show screenshots and small bits of footage. The sequel picks up a year after the first movie. This time around, the film actually focuses on Christopher Robin and he's the main character, so that's an improvement. I still have no idea why they focused on a random group of girls in the first one. They also recast Christopher, which was honestly for the best. The original wasn't great. All he did was stand around going, "Pooh, no, please don't, Pooh, no." Though, honestly, it wasn't entirely his fault, because the writing wasn't great. So basically, the killings from the first movie were named the 100-Acre Massacre, and a movie was made about it. And at one point, you can see someone watching it, and it's literally just the first movie. This raises so many questions. Did the events of the first Blood and Honey actually happen how we saw them? Or were we just watching the in-universe movie? If the latter is true, how much of the first movie can we actually believe? Because there are quite a few changes in this one that don't make sense. Are they actually plot holes? Or is it just because we were watching the movie based on the events of what actually happened and they just changed things to make it interesting for audiences? This seriously throws a wrench into everything. Anyway, Christopher is trying to move on and is working as a doctor now, but a lot of people in town don't believe his story and think that he is the one who killed the girls. His reputation is ruined, he's struggling to hold a job, and his property gets vandalized. However, there is a group of people that believes Christopher, and they keep going into the woods to try to kill the animal-human hybrids. Pooh and Piglet decide to team up with Owl and Tigger, but they still keep getting driven back further into the woods by the hunters. Now, let's back up for a second. Did you notice how I said Pooh and Piglet? You may remember that Piglet died in the last movie, but now he's just back. I don't understand. Did he somehow survive? I mean, he seemed pretty dead, and it made Pooh so mad that he teleported across an entire forest to kill the girl who murdered him. And then Piglet wasn't around for the rest of the movie. Or is that just what happened in the in-universe movie, and Piglet actually survived in real life? Do you see what I mean when I say that this movie existing makes it really hard to figure out what's a plot hole and what's not? But whatever, Owl and Tigger have joined them. I was wondering where Owl was in the last movie, and Tigger wasn't even mentioned, but it's fine, he's joined the team. Now, Rabbit was also said to be part of the group that ate Eeyore, and he's still nowhere to be seen. But hey, maybe in Blood and Honey 3. While we're on the subject of our villains, let's talk about how they look. It's way better than the first movie. Look at the difference. God, the first one was worse than I remembered. Now, the new versions are better, but are they good? I mean, it probably depends on the person. For me, it's hard to say, because I just cannot take evil Winnie the Pooh seriously, and that clouds my judgment. But you know what else I can't take seriously? The fact that they can talk now. I think Pooh had one line in the original, and he still really doesn't talk, but the others never shut up.
An evil which they created. We trusted Christopher.
The voices are creepy, but again, I just see it coming out of evil Owl and laugh. Moving on, Owl is telling Pooh that since humans keep coming after them, they should head out into the town and start killing them. That's when some more people go into the woods with guns trying to kill them. Pooh, Owl, and Piglet go out there and destroy them. Pooh's new weapon of choice is a bear trap, and Owl spits acid on people, and it's really gross to watch. One of the guys does manage to get a headshot on Piglet and kills him, so he's now died for a second time. What was the point of bringing him back if you were just going to immediately kill him anyway? After their killing spree, Pooh agrees with Owl. they're going to start going into town and killing the humans. They won't be hunted anymore. It's kind of hard to feel bad for Pooh and the gang. Christopher Robin left for college and they were all, oh, we have nothing to eat now. Even though they were eating just fine before they met him, they made the decision to eat Eeyore. But somehow this made them so mad that they decided that they hate all humans and will kill them. It's not even self-defense. Those girls were minding their own business in the cabin and yet they broke in and killed them. Now the humans start fighting back and they're all, oh, they keep hunting us. We have to fight back. They got a taste of their own medicine and didn't like it. At least the humans have a valid reason for killing them. Moving on, one person survived the attack and is rushed to the hospital Christopher is working at. He sees the guy and has his suspicions about who attacked him, but unfortunately for Chris, he was just fired because so many people think he's a murderer, so he won't be getting answers anytime soon. Then he makes weird eye contact with the hospital janitor. Christopher has started going to therapy, but weirdly, it doesn't seem like he's there to work through the killings from last year. He talks about it a bit, but these therapy sessions really focus on something entirely different. His therapist is doing this hypnotism technique on him so that he can remember what happened to his twin brother who was kidnapped as a child. All he can remember is him being taken away in a van. It's strangely similar to the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. But yeah, I do find it a little weird that he's more focused on this than working through the Winnie the Pooh massacre that just happened, but hey, who am I to tell someone how to use their therapy sessions? Christopher meets up with Lexi, who may or may not be his girlfriend. They're very close and flirty, and Lexi tells Christopher that she loves him, but later on, Lexi tells the boy that she's babysitting that Christopher isn't her boyfriend. So which is it? If they're not dating now, I'm pretty sure they will be very soon. And that means he got over his fiancé wife really fast. Why does Christopher Robin have such confusing relationships in these movies? He heads home and talks to his parents about his therapy session. His mom is loading the dishwasher, and we get this very obvious shot of all the knives facing upward. Gee, I wonder if that'll kill someone later. We're also introduced to Christopher's little sister in this scene. At night, he starts doing some research into his brother's disappearance, and this somehow leads him to an article about a crazy doctor named Arthur who experimented on children. If you think that you've figured out the big plot twist of the entire movie after hearing that, you're probably right. They make it very obvious. The next day, the police show up and tell Christopher that there were more killings in the woods, and the guy who was rushed to the hospital was the only survivor. Christopher has an alibi, so the police leave. He goes to the hospital to talk to the guy, and he tells Chris that he was right. There really are animal-human hybrids in the woods. Then he sees the janitor again, and he's hit with memories. The one who kidnapped his brother was the janitor. He breaks into his house with a knife, and is all, tell me what happened to my brother or I'll kill you. The janitor immediately caves, and is like, all right, I'll tell you. He then goes into a long explanation dump that lasts several minutes. He reveals that he worked for that Dr. Arthur guy that Christopher read about before. Arthur made him kidnap a bunch of kids for him. He would experiment on them, implanting animal DNA inside them. Afterwards, he buried the kids in the 100-acre woods, but the children rose again, coming out of the ground as animal-human hybrids with enhanced healing. And that means, yup, you guessed it, Winnie the Pooh is actually Christopher Robin's brother. Dun dun dun! I mean, I definitely didn't guess it as soon as he started reading that article on the doctor. Then the janitor shoots himself and dies because he feels so guilty about what happened. Now it's finally time for Pooh and the gang to attack the town. It feels like it has been forever since we last saw them. They start breaking into random houses and killing people, like this guy, who I only remember seeing in one other scene. Was I supposed to feel bad about Owl killing him by spewing acid all over him? Because the only thing I'm upset about is the fact that that image is now burned into my brain. Pooh attempts to kill Lexi, but she manages to escape and is saved by the police. She calls Christopher and tells him what happened. He's worried about his family and rushes to his house. It's at this moment where I started to wonder why he even stayed in this town. If I went through what I did in the first movie and knew that the undying Winnie the Pooh, who hates me and wants me dead and is still living in the woods that are right by my hometown, I'd be out of there. I'm moving, and I'm going to try and convince everyone that I care about to move with me. Like, the chances of Pooh coming after you again are so high. Staying there was a terrible idea. Anyway, yeah, Pooh broke into his house and killed his mom by slamming her head into those knives that were in the dishwasher earlier. He kills his dad too, but that happens off screen, so I don't really know what happened to him. Christopher arrives and finds his parents dead, but his little sister is missing. He drives off, trying to find Pooh. There's this rave going on, and I have to be really careful about what I show from it because there's a lot of skin showing here. I do not want to accidentally put something in this video that should not be on YouTube. Owl and Pooh arrive, and Owl's all, are you ready for this? You know, hyping him up for the big killing spree. Again, This is why humans were hunting you in the first place. These people are just enjoying the rave, minding their own business, and Pooh and the gang is like, yeah, let's kill them all. We hate humans because we ate our friend. Pooh and Owl start going crazy, killing everyone in sight. The rave turns into absolute chaos and everyone starts running away. One group of people manages to run pretty far, but they hit a dead end. They hear a laugh and turn around. Who is behind them? None other than T-I-DOUBLE-GUH-ER himself. Out of the entire Pooh gang, Tigger is probably the most entertaining to watch. He's just so aggressive and vicious. Now, is it still hard to take it seriously when he talks? Yes.
Hello, everyone.
Does his CGI tail look terrible? Also yes. But we can't really be picky with these movies. I will take what entertainment I can get, even if it is ridiculous. Tigger has long, sharp claws that he uses to kill people. He also calls most, if not every woman he kills, a bitch.
Better watch where you go, bitch.
Tigger hating women was not on my bingo card. I've heard a lot of people say that Tigger is like a knockoff Freddy Krueger, which, yeah, I definitely see that now. However, when I was watching it, I was thinking, wow, he reminds me of Jacques from Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, which I still stand by, but yeah, Freddy Krueger is probably what they were going for. There are a lot of kills at the rave, and I'm honestly not sure if anyone survives, which is crazy. Christopher finally shows up and shoots Tigger a few times, which kills him. Then he has a face-off with Pooh in the woods. They just so happen to be fighting near the hole in the ground he came out of when he revived after being buried there. He stares at it, remembering his origin. Christopher tells Pooh that he's sorry about what happened to him, and he wishes he could have saved him. It seems like he's broken through and reached his brother, but then Pooh starts to strangle him. Lexi shows up and tackles Pooh, giving Christopher the chance to shoot his head off, finally killing him. They find Christopher's little sister, and the three have officially survived the tragedy. But wait, what happened to Owl? The movie ends with Owl collecting the bodies of Pooh, Tigger, and Piglet. He says he's going to bring them back, and then they'll all get revenge on Christopher Robin. Oh boy, there's gonna be another one! Owl also has this line at the end where he's like, our strength is our friendship. But you know, I don't think you were saying that when you ate Eeyore, huh? Which, by the way, Owl clearly has a way to bring them all back. Were they not able to do that with Eeyore? Maybe they just ate all of him, so there was nothing to bring back. But yeah, that is the end of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. Now, was it better than the first one? Yes, and by a lot. The first one was so bad. This one actually had a plot. It focused on Christopher Robin. Pooh and the gang looked better and had some personality. This is a huge improvement. Now, that being said, I still don't think it's a good movie. The motivation of Pooh and friends makes no sense. They hate humans and kill them because Christopher Robin went to college. That is such a bad reason. I know who's responsible for you all eating Eeyore, and it's not the people at the rave. I like that they tried to give Christopher Robin a backstory, but it was implemented in a weird way. It's strange how he's more focused on the missing brother trauma rather than the evil Pooh Bear trauma that just happened. It also takes up so much of the runtime. Pooh and friends get their big moments at the end, but I actually don't think they were in it enough. Which, coming from me, that's saying a lot, because I don't even want to see them in the first place. The movie felt like going on a long side quest before getting back to the main story. There were still a lot of pointless characters that I didn't care about, the big twist was very predictable, and it still doesn't look great. I mean, that tail. Not to mention all the plot holes and things that contradict the first movie. And the whole in-universe movie complicates things and makes me unsure if things are plot holes or if that's just what happened in the movie version. Also, I can never forgive them for making me watch Owl spit acid all over people. I will never recover. Overall, I still don't think this movie is great, but it is a definite improvement. They are for sure heading in the right direction. But to be honest, even if the next one is amazing and the greatest film to ever exist, I still don't know that I'll be able to take it seriously because at the end of the day, it's Winnie the Pooh. This little guy would never hurt me. Right? If and when Blood and Honey 3 comes out, I will be back to tell you all about it. I'm in too deep at this point. But until then, if there are other games, movies, shows, anime, etc. that you want me to make a video on, let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!